The Obsidian Codex, Episode 4, Translation begins. Dr. Robert Kerr, Field Notes, November 18th, 2016. A week ago, when I finished the first volume of my grandfather's secret journals, I was eager to delve into the second, but I needed my mind to be sharp, analytical. It was important to take my time to consider the novel to transcription with great care and a close critical eye. The last thing I wanted was to fall victim of a hoax, like what happened with the declaration of Cuauhtémoc, the purported last words of the final Aztec emperor, supposedly preserved orally for centuries by a Nahua community before being shared, conveniently enough, with light-complexioned middle-class dudes in Mexico City who made it public in the name of a communal Mexican identity or some such nonsense. A group of Neo-Mexica, by which they mean mestizos trying to appropriate indigenous culture. El poder de la blanquitud. Oh, damn, it's getting cold. I need some coffee.
The community of graduate students asked me to talk a little bit about my own experiences with mental health in graduate school, evidently thinking that I am a halfway decent example of someone who's gone on to do okay, having overcome some challenges. So I'm happy to do that because I think it's an important topic and it merits that kind of...
Investigating what led up to the discovery of this young graduate student's body. Right here, police found the one concrete clue in his disappearance, where investigators located his body. The search for answers leads back to the university campus. One of his professors reports he didn't show up to class, and he wasn't picking up his phone. Last seen on campus the day before, at around 7:20 a.m. at the Student Center.
Our detectives were looking through electronic data, and this was really the last location that we had. Anything that's connected to, say, electricity or cell phone tower is something that we, the police, can look into.
We also noticed a trail that leads weak. County community, who believes did this to himself, is wrong. And justice. Team, they are working tirelessly to find out what happened and are dedicated to providing the family with answers. Mother tells me she feels she has received limited assistance from local and state officials and is initiating a third independent autopsy. She is pleading with the Attorney General and the FBI to take over this case and help her find out what happened to her son.
Okay. Yeah, field notes continued. Oh yeah, that's the right stuff right there. Okay, so as I was saying, I was worried, but after reading most of the transcription and translating a few pages of each of the sections, I feel confident that this text definitely predates the Spanish invasion. The syntax appears unaffected by the influence of any Indo-European language, and many of the words are clearly old, unrecorded in any existing lexicon. Made me struggle a bit. Parts remind me of a Mimitel Iquic in Primeros Memoriales. Oh, hear that creaking? It's the eaves of my home, creaking as another unseasonably chilly front works its way into the hill country of Texas. From here at my dining table, I can see the sun. It's setting in a strange purple and yellow miasma, like a festering bruise on the western horizon, appropriate for the weather and the political climate. There's a sense of unease frittering along my nerves. If the Tlapixque, the keepers, became part of the priory in Cuernavaca, that means the cabal itself sent me my grandfather's journals. But why? And how did they get their hands on the 2 volumes? Did he turn his notes over to the keepers? Can't be. He asked me to keep them safe there on his deathbed. They must have acquired them through other means. Well, I may not have the answers to those questions, but I've got this thick journal packed with text in Grandfather's nicely legible cursive hand. The excitement of exploring unknown nooks and crannies of Mesoamerican lore helps to stave off the uncertainties of provenance. So what do we have here? The cover is leather, and it has like this flap that folds over itself, and affixed to it is this strap that winds round the journal. Looks like it was jury-rigged to it after its manufacture. It ends with a piece of obsidian, an arrowhead, I would say, and this inserts into a place to kind of like close or clasp the journal close. NK, my grandfather's initials, are kind of carved into the front or embossed, and there's the symbol. The symbol that I saw in those robes in Morelos. A glyph of the sun with the Maya number 6. Okay, the first page has a date, June 6th, 1964. It says here, it's really hard. This first page, the lettering is faded, but it says, "Today I have met with Brother Fausto Quevedo. He has recited the Obsidian Codex." And there's like a little star next to that. And at the bottom it says, "Have begun retroactively using this term for Itzamochtli." Okay, and continuing the text, "Until late into the night, whilst I recorded him on a reel-to-reel." And then there's a marginal note that says, "Reels hidden, June 12th. In," I think it says, is that Huixatecatl? Isn't that the Hill of the Stars? Okay, yeah. Tomorrow I shall begin the work of transcribing those recordings with his assistance. Oh, and then there's another note about the reels missing by March 1975. Okay, yeah. I had a little phone call about that, Grandpa. Then we get like a title page that says "In Itzamochtli" with a little note on the facing page, title used by texts, Quevedo. Presumably Itza is related to Tezcatlipoca. Yeah, because Tezcatlipoca is the smoking mirror. Got it. And mirrors were made of obsidian. There's a subtitle that says, "In Iohuatlatl Tezcatlipoca." Okay, yeah, so this is a subtitle of my own invention based upon Quetzalcoatl's words. So yeah, I mean, just diving in, because, I don't want to like read every single page, but imaginary graduate student, you will be transcribing this stuff yourself. I've already begun translating some of it, but the book begins with a preface. Seacatl Quetzalcoatl is speaking to his disciples. The wizard Tezcatlipoca has been whispering the codex into their dreams from within the tree where the former emperor imprisoned him. This is something that we find in the myths of the Aztecs and of the Toltecs. Quetzalcoatl makes his people swear an oath to never write down the words, to keep them in their minds. Then he sets himself on fire. Yeah, that's his self-immolation, becoming the Star Venus or whatever. After a 4-day debate, his disciples agree that his command actually means, keep those arcane words in your minds forever. So they establish the Cabal. Before reading more closely, I flipped through the 200 or so pages to get a feel for its contents. All the material seems to discuss, invoke, or draw upon the power of the darkest elements of Mesoamerican religion, focusing on the Huehueteo, or great old gods, beings from before the dawn of time, most of whom are thankfully either dormant or imprisoned. Apparently, that doesn't mean they don't influence human events, however. There are 5 sections and I tried my hand at translating something from each of those sections. So it starts with the Te Tlachi Wilitsli, the incantations. And these are weird spells for drawing on the slumbering power of the great old gods. So I translated one to Xochipilli, that brings abundant sex. Could totally use that in my life right now. Another to Huehuecoyotl, to the old coyote, for creative success. Another endeavor that, hey, doesn't hurt, right? Can't hurt. Another to Quetzalcoatl for hidden knowledge. I'd love to be able to figure out some of these more obscure words, so hey, Feathered Serpent, help me out. The next section is the Ekanotzalitzli, invocations for calling on minor gods or dark spirits in the service of the great old gods. So, for example, there's one for Tlacahuepen, the younger brother of Huitzilopochtli, that brings about fame. There's one to Xipetotec for renewal of the age. There's one to the jade turkey, Chalchihuitotolin, to bring a plague. Imagine how Trump would probably screw that up, huh? Then to the Tlacatecolotl, to the owl man, so that he can release denizens of the underworld to walk the earth for 13 days. Maybe they could, eat some Trump supporters. I don't know. The evil spirits, the Ehekame, there's a invocation to them too for possessing the weak-willed and driving them to destructive acts. Just lots of fun stuff. Oh my god, really, really dark. But clearly pre-invasion. Not any Christian interpolation or twisting like you see in the Florentine Codex and so forth. After that we have the Teotihuacatl, which are hymns. And some of them correspond to what I'm forced to reconsider, frankly, as truncated, edited versions in Primeros Memoriales and elsewhere. These dark songs praise the great old gods, especially the females of the ancient race, the Tzitzimime. It's an obscure name that suggests they will fall like glimmering arrows to the sound of bells. They're also called Koleletin, or those of twisted desires. Many translators use star demons as an approximate English name, but their promised actions tell me all I need to know. In Waltemosque, in Kipolokiwitlali, in Kikwakiwitlacatl. They will descend to destroy the earth, to devour people. Thousands of words are dedicated to glorifying the cyclopean and different puissance of these great old gods, whose names are both familiar to me, Tzihuacoatl, Coatlique, Itzpapalotl, and some altogether unknown, Quetzolo, Atzol, Catonotoa, strange names. The mightiest of the great old gods is, of course, Tezcatlipoca, a creature of chaos who holds humanity in utter contempt. His hymns beg him for the destruction of this age, using epithets like enemy of both sides, our enslaver, night wind, lord of the near and the nigh. And then there's another section, the Tlateomatilistli, or rites, and these are mostly unholy rituals to keep the great old gods dreaming deep, because they're scary fucking things, right? I didn't really translate any of these, except this interesting one, whose title is roughly something like Resealing a Tear in Their Prison. Crap, can you imagine? A tear in their prison. What the hell? Who's this? Yes? Hello?
Good evening, Dr. Kerr. Apologies for the intrusion. I'm Mr. Coy. I have an important offer to make you.
Did you say coy? Very clever. You telemarketers are not supposed to call me. Huh? I'm on the list.
I'm no telemarketer. This is about the journals, Dr. Kerr. Specifically the second one. The one you're holding right now. The Obsidian Codex.
What the hell? How do you know what I've got in my hands?
Because I'm standing right outside your house, sir.
What the fuck? What? Oh, the tall fellow in my driveway with the briefcase?
That's me. May I come in? This bag's a bit heavy. Full of money, you see.
Money? What for?
To compensate you for the inconveniences.
Oh, the inconveniences. Alright, let's see what this fucking weirdo has to... Put this thing in the drawer so he can't see it. Oh. Alright, here we go. Normal people doing normal business ring doorbells.
There's nothing normal about this.
Come into the living room then. Have a seat.
I'll get quickly to the point. I represent the Toktakayo. You've read enough, I imagine, to understand when I say they are a branch of the Keepers that abides by the original command to make sure the spells and rites you're translating are never recorded in any medium.
Well, they have clearly failed.
You're not wrong, Dr. Kerr. But it's imperative that we obtain the journal as well as all copies or translations that you might have made.
Why? So that you can...
Destroy them, yes. We understand that you have dedicated significant time to working with the text, that you are very likely pinning your scholarly hopes on it,
You could say that.
which is why we are offering you $800,000 in exchange.
What?
10 times your yearly salary. Money enough to pursue other interests at your leisure.
How do a bunch of monks even have that kind of money to pay me off?
1,000 years, Dr. Kerr. It's more than enough time to accumulate wealth.
How do I know that that bag's not just full of books or something?
Take a look for yourself, Dr. Kerr.
Oh, shit. That's a lot of money. Well, look, I need time to think about it.
We can give you a week.
Wait, you can give me a week? What happens if I don't accept this offer?
I will simply say that the Toktakayo will not sit idly by while your foolish academic greed and emotional instability bring about the end of the world.
¿Qué chingados me acabas de decir?
Me escucho bien. Accept the money, Dr. Kerr. Let us handle the rest.
I need you to leave, now.
Of course. 1 week, sir. I'll be in touch.
I'm gonna walk you out, come on. Standing in my driveway either, go on. $800,000. Wow. Okay, it's tempting, but I don't know. This is special. This manuscript is important to me. I can't just turn my back on it. All right. Well, okay. Let me get through my notes on it, and then we'll make a decision. Sound good, self? All right. Here we go. So the last section, or I guess maybe the penultimate section, since there's this one last thing I haven't read, is in Tlatol, in Tlasiwike, the words of the prophets. This is full of prophecies about the final apocalyptic awakening of the Sitsimime and the Weweteteo, the old gods. These are ancient words fraught with existential bleakness, heavy with hellish lore, not meant for the eyes of men. And as I was reading them, it felt like they were worming their way deep into the bereft passageways of my soul. I mean, obviously, I do not believe the cosmic truths that they reveal, My rational, methodical mind refuses to even consider the possibility, yet at a fundamental level, as I read, my being responded with horrified, transformative fascination. I read on and on, transfixed not only as a linguist, but almost as a willing acolyte. The gist of the Codex is that an adept of chaos will, at some point in the future, speak aloud the terrible incantation of which Father Rodrigo Alsina made mention. In Tlalpoloa Xochitl, the rite of annihilation, more accurately translated, the magic that destroys the earth. At that point, the Tzitzimime will rip open the heavens, and the great old ones will awaken to devour everything. Then a new age will begin, the sixth sun. And that's where I stopped, late last night. Nightmares have been intruding on my sleep. I didn't want to make it worse, so I watched an episode of some dumb comedy and went to bed. But here I am, ready for the last of it. The worst of it. Ooh, my palms are aching, tingling with unaccountable dread. Alright, let me turn to the page my grandfather labeled Ininkompolos Tlaltikpactli, meaning this will put an end to the things of this world. There's Nelson Kerr's angular script, almost comforting me in the midst of such bleak content. The first word is... Wait, what the hell? This isn't Nahuatl. It's gibberish. Featuring the voice of Jesse Navarro.